Hello and welcome to part 22 of the Tim Burton style character series. This is David Ward, and when last I left you, we had just finished setting up the final versions of Tim and Elizabeth. So they're all done, ready to start animating, which is what brings us to part 22. So let me go ahead and open up the very last version of Tim, which was part 18. And I've gone ahead in the meantime and turned off all the subsurf modifiers on him, so he's easier to animate. I'm going to go ahead and save this as Tim 22. Which I was playing with earlier. Let me go ahead and rename that to its proper. There we go. Save as. And now I'm gonna show you a stop motion type of animation. It's very easy. It's just a little time consuming. So let's go ahead and back up all the way to frame 1. Just hit the back arrow there. Go ahead and turn on our automatic keyframe insertion. And let me go ahead and save this. I want to turn on the screencast keys, but as you saw before, that can crash Blender. So hopefully it won't crash. Okay, good. Whew. I never know when it's going to crash or not. But anyways, so we got that going now. All right, so let's grab part of the rig and turn on the arm and the legs there. So go ahead and put those into position. He's just going to kind of stand there and maybe, just kind of look at us and then give us a nice friendly wave or something like that. And it's going to have that nice stop motion feel to it. So let's go ahead and put his arms down to his side. And let's turn on his fingers layer as well. There we go. And grab these fingers, scale them down just a tad so they got a nice limp curve to them. There we go. Rotate this guy in. And maybe we'll grab that guy and move him in a little bit as well. Okay, so let's grab all of these bones here and copy and paste it to the opposite side. Copy, paste. There we go. Okay, and let me grab his foot and kind of just rotate it out. Put him in a kind of a stance. He's kind of just standing there all cool, like James Dean. Like, you don't know me. I'm a rebel. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay. So he's kind of got his head down, maybe cocked to the side a little bit. And he's going to be looking at us. Do we have a camera set up in this? I do believe we do. Yes. So let's have him where he's looking at the camera. And then we'll look through the camera, make sure he's... Bring that up some. There we go. Maybe grab the camera, come out a little bit, and down. And okay, so now let's go ahead and save again, and let's go ahead and start animating. Now, the technique I use, some people might have a different one, but the one I use is I'm gonna pretty well animate him normally, just shape tweening, or not shape tweening, but key pose tweening, I guess you could say, where you set a pose one way and then you go up a few frames and then you move it. And then Blender automatically fills in between this frame and this frame. It's called tweening. So let's go up to frame 20 and have him where he's just kind of starting to move his hand, and then maybe up to frame 30 where he's got it up and he's starting to wave. Go to our front view. And tell you what, let's go back to 20 and set a keyframe for his elbow here. Set it I and location rotation. No need to set it for scale since we're not going to be scaling at all. Go up to 30 and let's go ahead and bring that down so his elbow's pointing down. So now you can see it comes up. So that's just a standard animation tweening between the two frames. So he brings his hand up, and then also let's go back to, it's not frame 20, actually it's frame 22. But let's go ahead and have him. Let's set a keyframe there on his chest, and then maybe on his head as well. Location rotation, then we'll go up to frame 30, and let's rotate his chest a little bit so he's kind of leaning into the wave, and then maybe his head kind of comes up and tilts the other way. Okay, so now we have, if we go back and play, he's just standing there, and then he goes up and waves. Okay, actually I would like for his hand to not move at all. So I'm going to go over here, spread this window out. If I can grab it. There we go. And where are we at here? Not head, but hand. There we go. and come up here and let's grab this keyframe here, Shift D, duplicate that over until it covers up that frame, and then he'll be completely still up until he starts to wave. So it's a little unnatural for this hand to stay exactly where it's at since his upper torso is moving. So let's go ahead and just move it up slightly so it kind of just follows along. This looks a little better. Okay. And we'll have him kind of wave just a little bit. Maybe tilt his head back the other way. Maybe lean a little bit further, maybe in a little bit. Okay, so if we look through our camera, we can kind of see, and let's tell you what, we're just going to animate up to 40, frame 40, just for time's sake. Let's go ahead and hit. So I'm going to set the endpoint to frame 40 as well. So we're just going to have from frame 1 to frame 40. So if we rewind and hit play, you can see now he stands there for a second and then goes into some motion in waves. Okay, tell you what, let me set the frame dropping on so it's a little more real time. There we go. Okay, now looks like this hand is moving more than it should, so I didn't create a keyframe there on frame 22, so let's go ahead and copy this one, Shift D, move that over, and boom. Okay, now the easy way to get a nice stop motion type of feel is to just do that. Stop motion is essentially frame by frame manual animation. So they take a picture of one frame and then move their clay model just slightly, take another picture, move it slightly, take another picture, move it slightly, so on and so forth, to where it looks like it's moving when the frames are ran. So since we're doing this on the computer, we don't really want to, I mean, we could do a render, move it, a render, a move it, but that would waste a lot of time. So we can do it all in here and just do it frame by frame here. So what I want to do is we're going to stay stock still up until frame 22, and then we're going to go up a couple of frames, okay, and grab everything that's starting to move. So this hand here is starting to move, this hand, the chest, and the head. And I'm going to turn the controller here, this one here, to the individual origins for the pivot point, and automatic keyframe insertion is turned on. So I've gone up a couple of frames from frame 22, and now I'm just going to hit R twice, okay, and then I'm just going to rotate everything slightly, just a tiny bit, and it's going to give it a keyframe there, and then I'm going to go up a couple of frames again, and do the same thing, rotate it just slightly, couple of frames again, just slightly, and a couple more frames will put us on frame 30. So let's go a couple more frames again. He's still moving, rotate just slightly, okay, and almost there. Okay, and frame 40. So you can kind of see it has more of the stop motion feel to it now. So if I set this to, tell you what, let's grab all his clothing items and let's hide those for now. So the animation, or the visual animation, is a little more smooth. Let's go ahead and hide those. Just grab them and hit H, and then I'll grab his body, turn off the mask, so we can see it a little bit better. Okay, so it's smooth, and it's kind of hard to see because it's going so fast. So let me go ahead and turn on no sync. Let's see what that looks like. So it's a little choppier. It's kind of hard to tell on here because it plays so slowly, or it plays too fast. But so essentially we're going from frame 22, and you can kind of see a little bit of difference in the smooth transition. It kind of adds a little bit of jitter to it. So but since we jumped up 2 frames, it's kind of smoothing it out. So what we can do now is, if we go to our graph editor, we can go to view all. It should give us a better view. And then tell you what, let's ghost things that aren't visible. Oh, I see. Right now it's getting the drivers, and we don't want that. We want the F-curve editor. So grab our rig again and select everything that was moving, which is the head, the chest, the hand, and this. It was not the waist there. Unselect that. Okay, so now we have these guys, and as you can see, once we get up past frame 22, even though we move them slightly, they're still smooth curves. So a way we can get around that and actually have it more step by step is to say key interpolation mode, and we're going to go linear. So it's more. Actually, you can do that, or you can go constant, and then it's more step by step. So it's more definite step by step. And I guess the elbow bone needs to be elbow bone. Let's see, it was frame 22 up to frame 30, and then it stayed put, I think. Okay, so let's grab that one, and I guess we can't rotate it, but we'll move it slightly. So let's go ahead and move it slightly. A couple of frames up, move it slightly. A couple of frames up. Same thing. So on and so forth. And the rest of it should be good. Okay, so we can do the same thing here. Select these keyframes, key interpolation mode constant. So now you can see still a little bit more stop motion-y. So long story short, that's how you would get a stop motion feel. And anything you would animate, you would kind of go through there and set it up normally, how you would normally animate it, and then go back and go in between each main keyframe and set it, rotate it slightly, move it slightly, or whatever, just to give it that little bit of jitter look to it. So, okay, and here's the final rendered version of the little stop motion scene. So you can kind of see it's got that just jittery enough to be kind of a stop motion look. That's gonna be it. I think that kind of wraps up the series. So hopefully everything went smoothly and you learned a thing or two, and I had a good time doing this series. Hopefully you had a good time watching it. So any questions, feel free to ask in the comments section, or if you come up with your own character, feel free to do a response video and I'll put it up there. So again, thank you for watching and hope you had a good time. This is David Ward. I'll catch you next time.